You're listening to the Beauty Room podcast, helping you find your glow inside and out. In today's episode, we're talking all things SPF. Courtney shares a recent client experience that highlights the importance of using SPF and getting a skin check, and Annalisse shares some really good tips in terms of incorporating SPF into your makeup and skincare routine. Let's jump in. So what we're going to do today in today's episode, we're going to cover all things SPF because we all know that it's super important, but often it's not necessarily obvious to an everyday consumer about why SPF is so important, and perhaps the things that we're already doing in our skincare routine isn't actually enough to prevent the things that we're all trying to avoid, which is anti-aging, the pigmentation and the fine line and wrinkles.
Yeah, I think that everyone is more concerned about with their skincare. They just think that the cleanser and exfoliation and the moisturizer are going to prevent aging and pigmentation, but when really SPF is the most important part of your skincare routine, because it's a preventer for pigmentation, and it also is a preventer for your fine lines and your wrinkles.
Yeah, and I definitely think a lot of people assume that their SPF in their makeup is enough to protect their skin from all of these things, but it is really important to be educating our clients and just everyone in general to be wearing an SPF 50 underneath your makeup. The SPF 15 isn't doing a lot or anything in your makeup at all, so it is really important when we are talking to clients or educating clients that is going to be the number one protector in their skincare routine.
I think as an everyday person who hasn't necessarily prioritized skincare up until now, and I'm nearly 30 years old, I'm starting to see a few wrinkles that I don't want to be there. I look at a product shelf in a beauty salon and kind of freak out because obviously there's quite an expense there. But also, like, until now, you start your 14-year-old days with, the Clearasil sort of marketing and stuff like that. So you kind of naturally, a little bit about skincare in general, but then as you get older, your priorities kind of change, your budget changes a little bit, and you look like you're ready to kind of explore that cosmeceutical line. But there's like 100 products, and I don't even know what skin type I am, let alone where to start. But I keep hearing it. It's really popular at the moment. It's trending with the influencers and all sorts of other podcasts that we're hearing a lot about. And it's basically saying sunscreen is actually the one product that's going to save us.
Yeah, I definitely agree with this. It is really important to be wearing sunscreen within our routine. And I know a lot of the influencers promote all these different brands and other skincare products that might not be SPF, but at the end of the day, the SPF is going to be that one ingredient and product that actually protects us from the sun damage, the pigmentation, the anti-aging factors that we are trying to prevent. What do you think, Annalisse?
Yeah, most definitely. It has been proven that 99% of your fine lines and your wrinkles are caused by the sun. So literally your main go-to product and the most important product in your skincare routine, no matter how old you are, is your SPF, because that's really going to prevent and slow down the aging of your skin. Eventually we're all going to get fine lines and wrinkles, but like I said, it's going to slow down the aging process.
I'm so guilty of hating the way sunscreen feels, and I know that we kind of just reference SPF, but like realistically, we're talking about sunscreen here. I hate the way it feels, especially on my face. Like, until now, I was the kind of person that put oil on my skin at the beach, which I know is round. Don't look at me like that. But until now, I haven't actually cared, and I think that mentality is really affecting the young people of today. But I just, even under my makeup, on my makeup, it's cheap and crappy. It does have SPF 15 on it, and until I sort of started learning a lot more about this sort of industry, I thought that was enough, and I think most people do, which is kind of scary. But yeah, what sort of products are available for people like me who hate wearing? I suppose I just need to find the right products, because I just don't like the greasy feeling that sunscreen leaves on my face in particular.
There's a few different skincare companies that do sell just moisturizer that does have the SPF 50 in it. So maybe you can try one of those ones, because it might be a bit more less heavier on your skin.
Well, that's the thing, because I think you're putting on, for me anyway, I'm putting on my SPF, right? in theory. You know, my primer, my serums, my eye creams, like my moisturizer,
And
my other serum, the other serum that they say to put in. Like, there's like 100 different serums, my eye cream, and then I haven't even started with my foundations and stuff like that. So it's just a lot.
It's a bit heavy.
Yeah.
And I think on all different brands there is a range of different SPF options in terms of one for your face and one for your whole body, and then they go into the CC cream that have your SPF 50. So there is multiple options if you are feeling like you are kind of caking your routine on. But yeah, you can definitely get lightweight sunscreen that doesn't leave you feeling greasy and heavy just before you apply your makeup.
Or just a specific SPF just for your face, not using one that's for the body as well. Because the ones for the body are a bit more thicker.
Especially when you're looking at those like water resistant beach active ranges, like that's clearly not specifically for your face, so you're probably going to notice that when you're trying to apply a lot of different things.
Yeah, 100%. And a little story going back to the safety of wearing sunscreen. I did have a client come in that wanted to be treated for pigmentation, and as protocol stands, we always follow the same process in terms of safety before we start a treatment. So this lady wanted to be treated for her IPL series to be treated her pigmentation. Now this lady was like 60 years old, has never had a skin check in her life, lived in the sun, and I told her that I wouldn't proceed the treatment without her getting a skin check. So this is really important for us therapists as well, to follow protocols, but also as a client to ensure they get skin checks every 12 months is recommended these days.
Yeah.
But this lady then, I sent her off and she went and got a skin check, and she rang me the next day and she said that she had skin cancer all through her skin. So she obviously then had to have surgeries and has to be very cautious in the sun now, and then couldn't proceed with those treatments. So it just goes to show how important sunscreen really is.
Definitely. And I think you always think it's not going to be you. I think like that's like a very, I don't know, an Australian young person mentality. Like you don't actually think the C word is going to get you, especially, I mean, this lady was obviously a little bit older, so there probably wasn't, you know, the sunscreens that we're used to now. But I mean, knowledge is power, right? So we have access to these things and we really need to start utilising them. And that's where I think education comes in.
Yeah.
Definitely. And just with the fact that you were talking about before with the SPF in makeup, a lot of clients or people in general do think that SPF in your makeup is enough, but it's been proven that you'd have to apply 70 to 100 layers of that makeup in one go for the SPF to actually even be able to do anything slightly.
That's insane.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah. So always wear your SPF underneath your makeup and then apply still the makeup with the SPF.
So like hypothetically, I'm going to work, I'm getting ready for the day, so I should put on my SPF, like so my face sunscreen, so it's not too greasy, and then I put my makeup on, right?
Yeah.
How often do I need to reapply it?
We say every 2 hours you're meant to apply.
So then you're supposed to put it back on over your makeup?
Yeah, or you can just put like a little bit in your hands, and what I do is just put a little bit in my hands and pat it into my palms, and then just like pat it into the skin, not rub it.
Right.
Obviously it's going to give you a bit of like a dewy look, but it'll absorb.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just put a little bit to my hands and then just slightly pat it onto my face.
Yeah.
It also depends on the actual product that you are using as well. Like if you're at the beach, definitely every 2 hours, but if you are using a specific face SPF, a lot of the time they have like a 6-hour reappliance. If you are using it face SPF, you're generally indoors anyway. I know that there's always UV exposure in our lights and computers and phones and things like that, but a lot of the time you can get away with like a half a day to 6 hours without reapplying your SPF. Yeah.
Inside, yeah.
I think it's funny that you say that too, because when you talk about aging and stuff, we're always worried about our face and stuff, but I think I don't know what the statistic is, but they say like the first like place that ages is actually your hands. So it's actually also like, forget the lines around your eyes, like people are getting treatments now specifically to make their hands look younger, which is just insane. So making sure that like a lot of the hand creams and stuff now actually come with an SPF in it as well, because I mean we're driving so much, and in our climate like your So it's so important, not just for your face, but every part of your body that is exposed.
Yeah, definitely.
So I suppose like a takeaway from today's chat would be, if you're going to invest in any product to start your skincare routine, because, you know, there are a lot, you would say that SPF is priority number one.
Yeah, most definitely, because it's a preventer.
Yeah.
Not just obviously from your fine lines and wrinkles, but with your pigmentation also.
Yeah, and I think when you are starting skincare from the base and you don't really know where to start, or you don't have a routine going at all, definitely the first place to start is SPF. Like Annalisse said, preventing from anti-aging and fine lines and wrinkles and pigmentation, but also cancer and other nasty things like that can happen underneath the skin as well. So if you're going to do one thing, it'll definitely be apply your SPF.
Awesome. Thanks so much, guys.
No worries.
Nailed it. Good away.
Couldn't say this. I'm sorry.
Because Thank you so much for tuning in to the Beauty Room's first podcast episode. If you've got any questions or feedback, we'd love to hear from you. Otherwise, subscribe and we'll see you next week.